Hello everyone and welcome back to our remote sensing lecture series. Have you ever wondered how a radar satellite can tell the difference between a city, a forest and a lake, even in complete darkness or through clouds? The secret lies in something called backscatter, the way radar signals bounce back from the Earth's surface. In today's lecture, we will break it down step by step from understanding what backscatter is to turning complex pulsar data into colorful images that tell a powerful story about our planet. Before we begin, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon and share this video with your friends or colleagues interested in remote sensing. Let's get started. Here, what we will cover in today's lecture. We will start with what backscatter actually is, explore how it changes with different target properties, break down the key parameters that influence it, and finally learn how we can turn pulsar data into colorful, easy to read images. As mentioned earlier, the radar receives the reflected microwave signals from the target. This reflected microwave signals is known as backscatter. This backscatter is categorized into three types: single bounce or surface bounce, second is double bounce, and third is volume bounce. Generally, the targets like roads, water give single bounce. The man-made targets give double bounce, and the forest trees gives volume bounce. So here in this figure you can see, okay, see here it's a double bounce. Why it is called as double bounce? Because the energy is coming, okay, and bouncing back, okay, double bounce, twice it is bounce back. So generally the man-made targets like buildings will give you this double bounce, okay. Now this here you can see it's like a tree. So if tree has a multiple branches, the energy will bounce back multiple times, right, in all directions. So it is called as volume scattering. And this is like a surface or road or water, okay, single bounce. This backscatter is dependent on various parameters. It depends on the nature of the Earth's surface. Depending upon the surface roughness, the backscatter will vary. The second parameter is angle of incidence of microwave signals. If the angle is small, then the penetration will be more and hence the backscatter will be more. The third parameter is the wavelength of the microwave. The backscatter will vary for different wavelength. If the wavelength is more, the penetration will be more and hence the backscatter will be more. The figure 1 shows the comparison of X and L band. L band has more wavelength than X band. The surface which appears smooth in L band will appear rough in X band due to shorter wavelength. Backscatter also depends on the electrical properties of target. If the wetness of the target is more, the conductivity will be more and hence the dielectric constant will be more and therefore the backscatter will be more. Next, orientation angle of the target. Okay, so the orientation angle of the target with respect to radar flight path also affects the backscatter. For different polarization combination, the backscatter will vary for each target. The physical geometry of the target will also affect the backscatter. So, now you must have understood that it's very difficult to comment that for what type of target, what kind of energy is better. Okay, so we are not just talking about the polarization, we are talking about the polarization, we are talking about the wavelength, then electrical properties of the target, the physical structure of the target, incidence angle. So there are so many parameters which you have to take into consideration before commenting on any result. Here, the comparison of three wavelengths is shown. It is clearly seen that higher the wavelength, penetration is more. So, if we use X band to study forests, then we will get only the information about the forest canopy. On the other hand, if we use L band, we will get information of trunk. So here you can see X band can reach only this part of the tree. Okay. C band has more wavelength compared to X band, so it can cover this area also. And L band has the highest wavelength compared to X and C, so it can reach this till this level. Okay. So from this figure, it is very clear that if you have a system with multiple frequencies, like your SAR, your radar has capability of collecting the information of a same geographical area through X band, L band and C band, then you will get a maximum information about the target and the accuracy, classification accuracy will be maximum. The information conveyed will be maximum. Okay. Unlike standard optical images, PolSAR data is stored in complex matrix form, making direct visual interpretation challenging. To aid interpretation, the Pauli RGB composite is generated using Pauli decomposition, where different scattering mechanisms are assigned specific colors. Single bounce, known as surface scattering, is shown in blue, double bounce scattering in red, and volume scattering in green color. In Pauli decomposition, the single bounce scattering component is obtained from the difference between the copolarized channels HH and VV, and it is mathematically represented as HH minus VV. The double bounce component is obtained from the sum of the copolarized channels HH and VV. Mathematically, it is expressed as HH plus VV. In Pauli decomposition, the volume bounce component is obtained from twice the cross polarized channel. Mathematically, it is expressed as 2HV. Here, you can see a decomposed image of Mumbai area with various land covers. The data is acquired by allows to PolSAR quad-pole spaceborne radar, which is L-band satellite. We will study what is target decomposition and various types of target decomposition techniques in upcoming lectures. So, in this lecture, you must have understood now what radar backscatter is, what influences it, and how we can visualize complex PolSAR data by using Pauli RGB images.